welcome to another Football Manager 2016 experiment. Now, Rafa Benitez is currently on the cusp of being sacked from Real Madrid, and why not get ahead and do a Football Manager 2016 experiment where the main man, Zinedine Zidane, is rumoured to immediately take over and progress from the Castilla manager to the full first team manager. We know Zinedine Zidane is a legend of football as a player, but can he cut it as a manager at the biggest club in the world? Well, today we're going to review that. We've given him a 2-year contract. We're going to find out just what he can do in charge of all these high profile personnel. Will they respect him? Unlike what it seems with Rafa Benitez and also Carlo Ancelotti to a certain extent that's seen him get sacked. Well, we're going to find out today in this Football Manager experiment over the course of 2 seasons and see what Zinedine Zidane can do domestically and in the UEFA Champions League. There's no real need to look at the Real Madrid squad. We all know what he has at his expense, and of course he's going to have a large budget, no doubt, to bring in his own personnel if he chooses. Standout players, of course, the likes of Sergio Ramos, Rafael Varane, Toni Kroos, Gareth Bale, Isco, James Rodriguez, Cristiano Ronaldo, Luka Modric and Karim Benzema. So these are the base players of the Real Madrid squad that he will have to work with. Of course, he can bring his own personnel and remove players and sell them from the squad with the high transfer budget that no doubt he will have at Spain's, and not only Spain, but in my opinion, the world's biggest and filthiest rich club. What will also be interesting to see is Zinedine Zidane keeps Sergio Ramos as his captain of Real Madrid, Marcelo as his vice-captain of Real Madrid, and of course, key player for the squad is Cristiano Ronaldo, amongst other top-class, world-famous players. So as a player, we all know how good Zinedine Zidane was, starting off at Cannes, then Bordeaux, Juventus and Real Madrid. But his staff role really started as Director of Football at Real Madrid for around 2 years from 2011 to 2013. He then moved on to Assistant Manager from 2013 to a year later to 2014. He then became Castilla Manager in 2014 on the 1st of July to a year later, which is today, game time almost, and he has taken over as Real Madrid Manager. So it's a brief and very short staff role he has had since his retirement. Now before we crack on into the experiment, we'll have a brief look at the main man, Zidane's profile. He is 3.5 star and got his Continental 8 licence. He has £100,000 per week contract for 2 years at Real Madrid. He's 43 years old, 108 caps and 31 goals, of course, for the French national team. Now his attributes, the key ones that stand out are man management, technical, working with youngsters, adaptability, determination, and also level of discipline and tactical knowledge are both above 10. His preferred formation is a 4-2-3-1 wide. He likes to mix up his playing style. He's technically gifted as a coach, a balanced playing mentality. He likes to close down players, man mark, not fan of zonal it seems. His second preferred formation is a 4-1-4-1 defensive midfielder, also a 4-4-1-1 and 2 defensive midfielders, or a 4-4-2. He's happy to be in charge of Real Madrid. He likes to stay in and around Europe when it comes to being a staff member. He's content at life at the club. He loves Real Madrid, of course. So that just about wraps it up, guys. It's time to get forward 1 season and see how Zidane has got on in La Liga and in Europe, and who, if he's bought any players in and sold any at all. Will he keep all the superstars? Will he bring some more Galacticos in? It's time to find out. So here we are at the end of Season 1 with Zinedine Zidane in charge at Real Madrid. We're going to see what he done domestically, if he could guide Real Madrid to the La Liga title, if he could do anything in the UEFA Champions League, who he brought in, who he sold. We're 1 year ahead and he has 1 year remaining on his contract. The good news is he's still in charge, so maybe he done something right. And indeed he did. Zinedine Zidane in his first season in charge of Real Madrid has guided them to the La Liga title. 38 games played, 28 games won, drawn 6 and he only lost 4. 85 goals scored, making him the second top goal scoring team in the league behind Barcelona by 4 goals, although they did concede one less than Barcelona, but not quite as much as Atletico Madrid. So he has taken them to the champions of Spain. I wonder what he can do in the Champions League and if he managed to guide them to domestic and European glory. So he didn't quite manage to be as successful in the Champions League. In the Champions League first knockout round, he was ousted by his former club Juventus on away goals. 3-3 on aggregate. A game that he looked like he controlled in the second leg. 1-3-2, but of course a 1-0 victory for Juventus in Turin sent Real Madrid packing out of the Champions League at a very early stage of the competition. But Zidane and his co did manage to find more silverware domestically in the Copa del Rey final, where they played Barcelona at the Mestalla in Valencia, going 1-0 up after 2 minutes through Isco. Neymar equalised. 13 minutes later, James Rodriguez managed to put them ahead, and they held out and went on to pick up their second trophy of the season. A lot of wins throughout the season, of course, as you know, but in the El Clasico matches, they did manage to beat Barcelona 3-1 at home. In the first match, they got goals from Toni Kroos, Isco and Jesse. Luis Suarez did get sent off in that match. Sergi Roberto did get the Barcelona goal. Away at the Nou Camp, they did win again 2-1. Messi putting Barcelona ahead. Denis Cheryshev and James Rodriguez getting 2 goals in 6 minutes from the hour to the 66th minute to win 2-1 at the Camp Nou. And of course, that match that we just showed you in the Copa del Rey, a hat-trick of victories in El Clasico for Zidane over the mighty Barcelona. Not a great deal of activity regarding transfers for Zidane. Borja Mayoral goes on loan to Almeria. They did bring in, however, the goalkeeper in my Red Bull Leipzig save, the rise, Bartlomiej Dragowski, as cover to Keylor Navas, I'd imagine. Looks a good goalkeeper, but that is the only bit of business that Zinedine Zidane done in this first season with Real Madrid. So that is the end of Season 1, guys, with Zinedine Zidane in charge. He's got 3 victories over Barcelona. He's got 2 pieces of silverware. Champions League didn't quite go according to plan, and he didn't do much transfer activity. But it's safe to say Zidane did have a very successful first season in charge of the club that he loves. We will skip forward another season and see how he get on. See if he can keep up the pressure that he will have from the Real Madrid fans, and if he can continue to bring success to the White Galacticos. So here we are, guys, back now at the end of Season 2, and Zinedine Zidane has been given a contract extension by 3 years, and it now runs to the end of the season 2020. And notably, you will see that a lot of his attributes have increased a lot. So what we're going to do is get into the season, see how they got on, then we will check domestically in the Cup, the Copa del Rey, and of course in the UEFA Champions League. And there we have it. Zinedine Zidane cannot guide Real Madrid to back-to-back La Liga titles, being pipped to the post by Barcelona by 3 points despite notable good form at the end of the season and only losing 4 games, drawing 3, winning 31 games, and you do not win the title. Conceded the same amount of goals as Barcelona, but scored 8 goals less. So they are, of course, in the Champions League in the next season, but they are not champions of Spain. What they have managed to do, though, is guide themselves to the second successive Copa del Rey title. Played at the Camp Nou, they won 3-0 over Deportivo La Coruña. A double from Cristiano Ronaldo, and of course by Douglas Costa. You may have noticed he may be a new signing at the club. We will get into that in just a moment. In the Champions League, Zinedine Zidane did fare a bit better, but a thrashing in the semi-final. 2-0 in the first leg away to Barcelona, then 3-0 in the second leg at home to Barcelona. See them bow out in the Champions League semi-final to Barcelona 5-0 on aggregate. I'm pretty confident that this sort of thrashing would potentially see any Real Madrid manager sacked. Of course, this isn't too long ago. So a semi-final defeat in the Champions League, a win in the Copa del Rey, and second place finish in La Liga. It's not been the best of seasons for Zidane. 1 piece of silverware. Let's check and see how they got on in the domestic league El Clasico matches. And just by looking at this schedule screen, you will notice that Real Madrid did play Barcelona in a Supercopa double-header. They drew 2-2 away to the Nou Camp, so he did pick up another piece of silverware, winning the Supercopa, beating Barcelona 4-0 at home. Goals through Isco, Casemiro, Benzema and Gareth Bale. They then played Barcelona early on in the season at home and lost 2-0 in that match. We then skip forward and down and we will see that they played Barcelona again away from home in the league and ended up winning 2-1, goals from Cristiano Ronaldo and Dani Carvajal. Of course, they played Barcelona again in the UEFA Champions League. And as you know, we covered that. They lost 2-0 and lost 3-0. So, it's been an okay performance in terms of playing the El Clasico matches. It was really good last season. It was okay this season. So, 2 pieces of silverware for Zidane this season. I guess he keeps on going and keeps winning trophies. Let's see the transfers that were made in Season 2 under Zidane. And no holding back this time, Zidane went out and spent 110 million. He really did go for it, trying to spend the cash to retain his title, which he did not. He spent 48 million on Marco Reus, 3.6 million on Federico Valverde, 21.5 million bringing back Alvaro Morata from Juventus, Fabian Schär for 10 million, Tobias Svensson, the young wonder kid, who a friend Paul told me about, comes from Norway. He's a real talent in Scandinavia just now. £150,000 from Molde. Johnny from Celta Vigo for 9.5 million. Jean Martinez from Real Sociedad. Douglas Costa at a relatively cheap 10.25 million. And John Brooks from Hertha Berlin for 6 million. They sold £15 million worth. Notably, Jesus Vallejo going out on loan to Moscow. Pepe going to Monaco. Tobias Svensson going back on loan to Molde. Fabio Quantrao being sold to Manchester United. Arbeloa to Everton. Odegaard on loan to Inter Milan. That's an interesting one, playing under Roberto Mancini. Nacho going to Lazio. Tobias Svensson again going out on loan to Montpellier. Denis Cheryshev to Newcastle United. And Bartlej Dragowski to Real Zaragoza. Now, I did just plan on doing this a 2-season sim, whereas Zidane has won trophies in both seasons, but he's failed to win the Champions League and he's failed to retain his title. So this calls for another season at Real Madrid under Zinedine Zidane. So here we are in the third and final season that we will review Real Madrid with Zinedine Zidane in charge. Now, as you can see, Real Madrid again finished second, Barcelona superior this time by 5 points. 38 games played, 30 wins, 4 draws, 4 losses, which means it's less than 10 losses over the last 3 seasons and only 1 title, I believe. 88 goals scored, 28 conceded, pretty much solid at the back. And a decent run in the last 5 games of the season, only 1 loss, but Barcelona did win all 5 games. Barcelona and Real Madrid, of course, did meet in the Copa del Rey final, and Barcelona took this one with 2 goals in the last 11 minutes of the game. Luis Suarez and Ivan Rakitic getting the goals for the Catalan side. The Supercopa again took place at the Camp Nou in the second leg, where Barcelona won 3-2 after a 3-2 loss against Real Madrid at the Bernabeu. Now, this match ended 5-5 on aggregate, went all the way to a penalty shootout, which seen Zidane's side lose, Benzema, Cruz missing the decisive penalties. Scorers of penalties: Cristiano Ronaldo, Sergio Ramos and Gareth Bale. It wasn't to be for Zidane and co in the UEFA Champions League after going out at the quarter-final stage. They did win 2-0 at home at the Bernabeu against Manchester United, but a remarkable 3-0 raw loss away at Old Trafford. Goals through Luke Shaw and a double through Juan Mata see Real Madrid bow out of the Champions League in Season 3 at the hands of Manchester United in the quarter-final stage. Not a huge deal of transfer activity to tell you about. Manuel Bregui from Grasshoppers, a regenerated player probably, comes in for £350,000 to Real Madrid. Going out, Federico Valverde, Tobias Svensson, Raul de Tomas, Bartosz Dragowski, Dani, all going out on loan. Sales: John Brooks to Roma, Casemiro to Porto and Kiko Castilla to Real Sociedad. So after 3 seasons in charge of Real Madrid, Zinedine Zidane is now 45 years old and has currently got 2 years left on his contract. He has now moved up to Continental Pro licence in the coaching badge area. His attributes have again increased and he's still happy and content with life at the Bernabeu. So to wrap up this short experiment, we will look at the life and time in 3 seasons of Zinedine Zidane at Real Madrid. He has had 2 jobs, of course, the Castilla job prior to this one. He has 3 awards, whether they be Manager of the Month or Manager of the Year. 1,065 days currently at Real Madrid. Games played, 175, 135 of them won, 18 games drawn, and only 22 lost. 1 short of 400 goals scored, 399, conceded 140, 259 goal difference. 77% of matches have been won. He's brought 10 players into the club for a value of 142 million, sold 11, worth 31 million pounds. That's kind of the way things go with Real Madrid. Highest fee spent, 48 million for Marco Reus, and his highest fee received is 7.5 million recently for Casemiro. 46.5 million paid to agents, and he has released 3 players in his time. Now, over the course of 3 seasons, he has won 3 cups, 2 Copa del Reys, and the Super Copa. And he also won 1 league title. Now, the question is for you guys, is a Super Copa, 2 Copa del Reys, and a 1 league win in 3 seasons enough success for Zinedine Zidane to be considered to go forward with the club? You know what Real Madrid are like. They like to pull the trigger very early if success isn't going their way. I'll let you guys decide if that is enough success for Zinedine Zidane to continue as the Real Madrid manager. Anyway guys, that's another Football Manager 2016 experiment wrapped up. I hope you're enjoying it. I hope you're enjoying the YouTube channel. Please give it a subscribe. We're pushing that 1,000 subscribe barrier. Drop the videos a like if you do enjoy them, of course. And thank you again for watching some of my content.